Alright, so today I'm going to show you my little project I'm working on today outside in the backyard. As you can see here, I got my gutters full of leaves and water and a mess. And we got all these trees here, keep on falling inside of our gutters, really creating a big problem, clogging up the gutters, and the water is retaining, which leads to mosquitoes and just a big nightmare in the backyard while we're trying to do some gardening. So I am going to install some gutter guards here, and I'm going to show you which ones I chose and how we're going to install them. So as you can see here, we got a mess to clean up in the gutters themselves. So we're going to go in here and clean all this out so we can install the gutter guard. As you can see, this tree makes a mess here with these balls falling, the leaves, and even twigs, and even the mulch. This tree up here sheds the mulch, leaves, and all these freaking little seed things. So it's really a disaster as far as keeping the gutters unclogged. So here's our solution. Alright, here's the gutter covers or guards that I bought. These are called gutter shingles. They have so many different kind of gutter covers, and this is the one I went with. We're going to install it. It's a powder coated steel, and it matches the shingles on our roof line. And if you look from the side here, you can see how it's gonna slide into the groove of the gutter in the front, and then this back side will slide up underneath the shingles themselves, and we'll put them in together into the gutters once we get them all cleaned out. So there's a lot of different options. I went with these. As you can see, they got a small tiny hole. Some of the other ones I've seen are a little bit larger holes, and even I'll show you our next door neighbors actually how hers looks and how they just collect all the debris inside her gutter covers. Let me show you that. So here's my neighbor across the street. As you can see, she has these gutter covers, but these are a little bit bigger. These are crap they sell at the local hardware store. But if you come down here, if you look, they just collect all of the debris, leaves, twigs, pine needles, or whatever. And gutter covers aren't maintenance free, but you know what, if you get a little bit smaller hole, it'll blow off versus just catching in the holes. So this is what we're going to try to avoid, is that mess. Alright, so as you can see, there's a lot of water in there, a lot of leaves. So I'm just going to start getting in here. I'm just going to use my hands, the easiest way. I got a little bucket up here, I'm going to put it all in. And once we get all the big leaves and debris out, I'll wash out this gutter line and clean it all out. It'll be looking like brand new, and then we can install our new covers here. Get all this debris washed out. Once we get these guards on here, any of the small stuff will wash out if we get a big rain. If it goes through the gutter guards on this little dirt, whatever. This is the leaves decomposing here, but once we get all this cleaned out, it won't hold water. The leaves are making the water kind of stand in these gutters. So let me get this cleaned out and show you the next step. Alright, so I'm doing the last little rinse here. I'm just kind of, I've been scrubbing this. I used a little power sprayer, little nozzle, just anything you can find to get a nice pressure point on the water and get all this dirt and debris cleaned out underneath the gutter. Got most of the dirt rubbed out. I just rubbed it with my hands and got in there and really cleaned it. First step is really make sure you get this cleaned out, or you're going to have a lot of problems down the road once we put the covers on. Then you can see it just flows right down in there. So it's nice and clean. the water will flow out just fine. And then the next step is to get these covers on. I'll put one screw right there to hold that closed. And then I can pinch this a little bit here. Make sure that's on there. Nice and firm. And then we'll just put one screw in there. That'll hold it down. Then there you have it. The gutter and cover. The first piece put in. A little bit of work. I'm going to make sure I put the cover underneath both layers of shingles. If you put it between the two shingle layers, you're gonna break the seal between the shingles. So make sure you put it below both layers of shingles, and you'll be in good shape. So we'll just keep on going and install this all the way down. But that looks really good. So here's the first piece I got installed. We got our second piece. If you see this spot here, it's a little notched here at the front edge. That'll give us room to slide in the next piece here, and then it will overlap about a 1/4 inch from the next piece. All right, I'm gonna show what I did here. I got a little piece I got to cut off the end, and I folded it over and notched it like so, because let's see if I can get a picture of this here. We got this gutter here. It's going to be a hole between here, so I'm just going to fold over this gutter slab. Let me get it installed and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so we got the gutter installed down this one small section, but down at the end I wrapped this here, because if I just cut it right here, then there's been this gap between here. So I bent it over and wrapped the end so there'd be no opening here. And I might put one screw in here just to close that down at the front there. But now there's no opening here in this section, because if I had cut it straight here, then there had been a gap, and then a lot of stuff could fall in here. But there is the first section of our gutter guard installed. Takes a little bit of finagling. Here's the end of one gutter end. I wanted to show you what it looks like. There's no gap between the gutter guard and the gutter itself here. Let me show you another end. As you can see here, there's another end. This is where I started the gutter guard. There's very little gap between the gutter itself and where the gutter cover is laying on top there. Let me show you the end of this gutter, what I did. So here's the other end of the gutter cover. As you can see, I've folded this end over a little bit. This is where the gutter is sloping down, so there's a bigger gap between the roof line and the gutter. So if I just let this straight, there's been a big gap between the gutter cover and the gutter itself. So what I did is I folded the end over some and closed in that gap, so there won't be any chance of any debris getting inside of our gutters there on this end. Alright, so I got all the gutter guards installed, as you can see here. On this side, it was a little bit more work. I had some little braces I had to remove and add back on. I guess this is bracing up the gutters. I didn't have this anywhere else, just on this one section of gutters. So I had to unscrew that, and we put the gutter guard on and then screwed that little brace back in. But other than that, this was pretty simple to do. I slid this gutter guard underneath the shingles, both layers, and laid it on top of the underlayment, in between the underlayment and the shingles. And as you can see, this is what it turned out. And hopefully now we won't have any more clogged up gutters, and should be in good shape. So here's a idea of how you can do this as well. There's very many different kinds of covers, but this is the one we went with. So hopefully this will give you some ideas on installing gutter covers yourself. There's a wide range of varieties from anything from $5. These are about 4 feet long sections, so these are about these were about $11 that I bought, but these can range depending on what kind you buy, from between $5 for the cheapest, and I've seen up to over $20 for if you get the copper variety. So there's a big variety of pricing out there. These are the ones mid-range, medium price, and I think these will work pretty well for us, and they look great. So make it a great day.